Good afternoon and welcome to round 5 of the school's championship, and welcome to Wellington College, who host Clifton College this afternoon at a 3:30 kickoff. We are getting ever so close now after a slight delay as Clifton recording some traffic on the way over, but we're almost there. So I thought, why not start running you guys through the team sheet. To introduce myself first and foremost, my name is Ollie Johnson. I'll be running you through today's game between Wellington College and Clifton College. Starting off with the home side, a team stacked. Continuing swiftly on through these lineups, we had number 6 as Will Courtney of Harlequins. At 7, apologies, at 7 is Will Courtney of Harlequins. And at 8, it is the captain, Charlie McKay. Into the back line at 9 is Jack Thorpe of Bath under-18s, and he's partnered by Sam Watson-Nee at fly half. He hit a winning penalty against St. Joseph's Hessel to start half-term. In form, to say the least. As you see the Wellington lads there lined up for moving through the back line. There's Rue Hill on the left wing of Bath Academy, and he is met in midfield by Elijah Hughes of Northampton Saints and Dan Bowen at outside centre. Quality combination there in midfield. Crowds erupt after that moment of silence. And just to finish off the team sheets, we have Dylan Clash on the right wing for Wellington and Tom Chapman of Harlequins finishing off at fullback. Onto the Clifton side, Nathan Elliott, Ted Smith, Mull and Evan Davies are in the front row. In the engine room are Will Thomas and Jaden Sullivan. And the back rows, Raf Julie, Theo Porrell and Max Jones. The halfback pairing are Nico Valabona, Jack Williams, and then the back three consist of Zach Calvin Lovell, Miles Pierce Lynch, and the man in hot form, Glenn Gamble, who's already taken that one, thrown an offload to the outside. What a start here for Clifton. Oh, just being pushed out of touch, but what a start. We've seen Glenn Gamble get after a load of those kickoffs so far this year, to devastating effect, and it's rinse and repeat for them here. Finishing off in midfield, though, for Clifton are Harry Giles and Will Moore. Strong lineups for both teams today, littered with academy talent. And Wellington find themselves under a lot of pressure early on here. Line out on their own 5, can they get their drill right in the first minute of the game? Clifton getting 2 lifting pods up there. Wellington taking the middle and getting the drive on. Straight to the exit from the scrum half, and it's a brilliant clearance, just kept in though. And Glenn Gamble slips out of the first tackle, carries through to the second. Picking through the middle early here. What can Clifton do? Valabona gets the ball away to the 3-man pod, who gets pushed back by the Wellington defence. Good start to this game as they play out the back. Oh, just drifts forwards on the pass. Eager, both of these sides are. We saw the eagerness in the defence, the willingness to get off the line early there and make some big tackles and force Clifton back. And they just got caught ahead of themselves after they lost momentum from that first pod. Exciting start to this one in this iconic ground. What a grandstand overlooking this, and the floodlights are out as we are progressing slowly into the winter nights. This one should be full of atmosphere. We can hear the sidelines going off already. It's brilliant to hear. And hopefully that atmosphere will carry through. As is Wellington scrum, and referee wants to have a word with the boys. Settle down, fellas. Big front rows here for both sides. Clifton, Bristol Bears under 18s, England 18s, Bristol Bears 18s. Unbelievable amount of international talent, not only just national talent here. And well, Wellington are much the same with the Bath Academy and Bordeaux player in there as well. Let's see how this matches up. Pretty even stuff as the ball gets played away into midfield. Loose pass though is picked up on the outside by the fullback, who carries well. Slightly isolated. Just resource that breakdown. Good effort from the forward pack to get back into a carrying position. And Wellington is trying to pull some bits off here. Just knocked on though. And we find ourselves back in almost the same spot after that passage of play. Clifton not afraid of starting fast in these games. It has been a tough campaign for them so far in this year's schools championship. They are 2 games in, 2 games lost to a very strong Sedbergh team a few months ago, and then Millfield doing their thing the other week. 2 very strong teams, so you can't blame them. Let's see if they can bounce back here though. Trying to get the ball into the hands of the danger man Gamble, but he just coughs that one up. Getting caught a bit flat to the line and just putting pressure on passes as well as catches. And that one just couldn't quite stick for the boys in white and blue. Third scrum of the game, already getting through these set pieces. Looks like a good day for Reading Rugby. So disappointed to see the handling so far, but early nerves and jitters for these 2 teams, desperate for wins. Down the short side we go, just catch and pass. Wellington looking to get out of their own half for the first time in this game, and that they do. Put it into the hands of the danger man. Gamble clangs that above his head. What a take. Clifton getting back behind the ball, carrying through midfield, looking to potentially set up an exit of their own or to try and play out the back. Here they go, into the outside channels. Creating a bit of space, well tackled in the end, but 20 metres further down the field as Valabona goes down the short side, finds his man, but a good tackle coming in from Wellington. Now it's their turn to bring some energy in defence, and that they do, catching Clifton behind the gain line. Need to regroup here. Passes to the big man. He gets driven back. Slow ball at the breakdown. It's not going to help them out here. Loose pass picked up very well. Advantage here for Clifton after the longest string of phases this game's seen so far. And it's offside. Forearm Wellington. Also conceded an extra 10 metres there as well. Camel here, ball in hand. We've seen him take the points a lot so far this season. But on this occasion, they want some more than just the 3. They want to go big. Finding themselves back inside the Wellington 22, a little further out than they were at the start of the game, but at this time, importantly, with the ball. Wellington desperate for a win of their own after a very narrow defeat to Millfield a couple of weeks ago. They'll be desperate for a win here today after essentially gifting Millfield the win after being so far ahead in that one away from home. They did brilliantly, but Millfield just stayed in the fight after an absolutely brilliant game of rugby. And hopefully we'll have something similar today as the sun sets over the Wellington skies. Clifton here looking for their first win of the season, as we're slightly delayed. And we're on. Oh, just overthrown slightly. The lift was a little late, a little bit slow. And Wellington will breathe a sigh of relief if they can get out of here scot-free. And they're looking to come back with a counter-attack of their own, finding it all the way out to the wide channels, beating a couple tacklers in the process. That's got the crowd to life. Playing at the back, a bit of width, straight through the middle though. Goes a fly off. Slightly slow, finds some space into the outside. The gate is shut very well though. Oh. Must release as the tackler. No clear separation. And Wellington have somehow found themselves all the way up. Now back in Clifton's 22 for the first time in this game. What a response from them after being under the pump. Perhaps Clifton will look back and think maybe we should have taken the 3, as they found themselves more or less where they would be after a kickoff. Well played from Wellington. Let's see if they can capitalise on their opportunities a little bit better than Clifton have so far today. Kutzi of Bordeaux to throw this one in. And their drill goes a little bit better than Clifton's. They play into midfield. Big Carrigan, the boys running early, but well shut down by Clifton. They meet the contact well, but a switch back to the short side. Oh, met with a good tackle. Well read by the second rower. Coming down the S-edge side. Clifton matching numbers quite well so far. Down the short, so they go, almost picked off. Gamble always loves chancing his arm at these things in a generous, just a knock on from the referee. So we'll have a scrum. Gamble really is the danger man in this year's competition so far, having already represented Scotland 3 times in the under-18 Six Nations. As a man of the match performance against Sedbergh as well, to add to his name. He is The man to watch today, without a shadow of a doubt, coming from fullback. But it's still Wellington's turn, this time with a set piece scrum from the left-hand side. Penalty goes Wellington's way, and they're going even further into the depths of Clifton's 22. Now it's Wellington's turn to go to the catch and drive potentially. Let's see if they can get the line-out drill a bit better than Clifton, who don't compete here. Ball is unfortunately knocked on at the back. Coaches will be pulling their hair out over that one. Both these teams with opportunities they're letting go by early in this one. Trying to get a foothold in the game, but can't quite land the finishing blow on the scoreline. But good territory for Wellington compared to where they started this passage of play, back on their own try line. They'd much rather be playing the game up this end of the field. Valabona to put this one in. Clifton get a good squeeze on, but the ball's played away into midfield, going very route one direct carry, but almost carried away from his own support. Ball comes back to Gamble. He gives it a full swing, but as the crowd cheers out nowhere, they only find their way up just around about their own 10-meter line. So Wellington with another chance here to go back at them. It's blow for blow here early as we come into the 12th minute of this encounter. We have a rolling clock, by the way, so the time you're seeing is not necessarily the referees. It may run a little bit longer. Good drill from Wellington, and they peel off the front, hitting the seam really well with a bit of space and an offload. Brilliant carry through the midfield. They find themselves back in and around Clifton's 22, but they can't hold on to it. This game hasn't seen too many phases beyond 5. And the referee blows his whistle for holding on. Well done over the ball there. Another example of carrying almost too well, and you begin to isolate yourself. And if the support can't quite get there in time, then it's turnover. As Gamble hits this one back down the sideline. Gets a bit of extras on this one too. Good exit. Brilliant turnout here in Wellington. You bring plenty of noise from the sidelines, and you love to see the hoop jerseys along the fencing. It's always a good watch. Good view of this lineup. Can Clifton tidy up their set piece record? They sure can. Thrown down to Valabona, but into midfield, out the back, and they're in space. Almost more space than he knows what to do with, but carries well. Brilliant offload to the outside. Finds it all the way into the hands of the left winger. Playing back into midfield. Good carry from the forwards. Clifton starting to string some phases together here. Good tackle coming in from Wellington to shut that one down, but Clifton just hold on to it. Force a knock on. Playing on. No nonsense rugby from Wellington today. Not afraid to go to the skies. And what a kick chase. What a tackle as well. Not held. Gets just back to his feet. And Clifton have to jog back to get back behind the ball for this one. High ball in play time here. Bodies will start to fatigue and see where the space opens up. Clifton finding on an edges quite well and just setting off to the outside channel. Oh, gets a brilliant offload away to the outside, and it's the winger. Always got to trot in. But the referee's brought us back. Oh, that was a brilliant piece of skill. And a disappointing result as the Linos put his flag up. And referee's just seen it out of the corner of his eye. What an offload from Will Moore to find the left winger. Oh, let the boys play, I say. What a piece of skill to throw the ball to the outside. A good few phases coming together there for Clifton. But we find ourselves still 0-0 on the scoreboard. Oh, getting lost in the drill there are Wellington, and it's back on the attack for Clifton. Bit of space here on the outside if they can move the ball there. Oh, getting it caught a little bit flat, and Wellington hack through. Enough bodies back for Clifton though, as they run the ball back with a vengeance here. Malabona plays to the short side. Oh, good shot in defence to force an error. Getting off the line really well there. Good line speed, made a good tackle, and win back the ball for Wellington. Still an edgy affair so far. No team really taking a full grip of this one yet. Both teams desperate for wins in this competition after Wellington suffered a very narrow, heartbreaking last minute of the game try defeat to Millfield after leading for so long in that one. And Clifton still on the hunt for their first win after 2 losses so far this season, and you can sense the frustration in that scrum. Must say, an absolutely immaculate surface here at Wellington. A proper firm track to be running around on for these lads. Let's see if we can bring some running rugby with it. Good squeeze from both teams as the ball gets played away. Picked up off the bootstraps, looping around 13. Both teams running this play off 13 with the 12 coming looping round. It's quite good effect. Wellington on the front foot here. Scrum half is firing this passes away, and a bit of space found back on the inside. Puts the afterburners on, is brought down well and lifts off the floor. But another unforced error. A bit of patience required there for Wellington as they make the first good line break of the game. A bit over eager to make a little bit too much of that before it really built into anything. We saw Clifton fly up on the outside, and the pass from the Wellington scrum half almost forced his fly off. No other option to come back inside, but there he found some space as the inside defence of Clifton was caught slacking, as it sometimes can be. Got to remember, when the ball passes, you've got to stay high on the inside. You've got to stay active in defence, otherwise spaces like that open up to be eaten up by the Wellington defence. But they couldn't quite finish their dinner on that occasion. As Valabona puts the ball into this one. Just going front door and finding a bit of space there. Through the Wellington defence. Big carries from the Clifton midfield in this game so far. Ball getting thrown around. Calvert's to handle it. Gets blocked off, but a couple of complaints. But Wellington now running it back. Good tackle. But the ball gets thrown to the outside. A lot of good offloading in this game so far, keeping the ball alive brilliantly. Carry into midfield. Wellington with a chance to string some phases here, but they just knock it on again. The unforced error count is creeping up through this game. Clifton the only team to really be able to throw a few phases together. As ref calls time on this one. As the player needs some treatment. Wellington doing well so far to have the composure to exit well from their own half, but they're having to do that rather more than they probably want to due to the pressure of Clifton stringing a few phases together. Once they've looked to throw the ball to the outside, they have looked dangerous. They're doing very well to square up defenders in midfield and preserve that space for their outside players. On one occasion, of course, almost sneaking into the corner for our first score of the game. But we're 20 minutes into this one, and it is pointless so far. 0-0 between Wellington and Clifton. The stakes are so high here. Although the game is pointless, it is definitely not pointless in a more figurative sense. It means a lot to these two different teams as they're both searching for their first win of the campaign. Almost last chance saloon for Clifton, with a team that's so stacked as well, full of academy players who just haven't been able to find a win together so far this year. Physio's done her job. Off she trots, and we're back on with another scrum, this time to Clifton. Dangerous position around this area of the field. 50-22s are on, so it means that the wingers drop back a little bit, which might open a bit of space up for them, as we found they like to exploit in the outside channels, but also testing the front door of Wellington very well. They go straight to Gamble, who's got no nonsense here. Punts them a good 20 metres further up the field. They're out of their half. They put the pressure on Wellington. Let's see what they do at this time. Wellington resorting to the boot on a couple of occasions so far today. And kicking well. Of course, only ever as good as its chase. But them really having a full court game so far. Nothing between these two teams. It's a brilliant contest. Let's see if the home support of Wellington can help carry them here. Good drill. Oh, another unforced error. You hate to see it. The coach will just be praying for some phases. Just got to have that next job mentality though here for Wellington. Straight on, and that makes that kick from Glenn Gamble look even more like a good option, as they now find themselves not only in opposition territory but now also with the ball. What can they do with it on this occasion? Ball comes out, looping pass into midfield. Play out the back again, and a bit more space this time on the outside arc. But another unforced error, but we're going back. Both these teams love running a loop around 13. You'll see a long pass come from the fly half all the way to the 13. 15 runs the short line, 12 loops around. It's a brilliant way to move the ball into space while simultaneously fixing players to preserve that outside channel, as we see the gas men running down the short side. But not quite pulled off on that occasion. Another unforced error, but fortunately for Clifton, they have the advantage to go back for. Let's see if they can bring our first points of this one. Smith-Milner to throw this one in. Not the straightest thing I've ever seen, yeah, and the referee agrees. Frustration for both teams, I'm sure, as they're struggling to really piece together any sort of attack, but masters of their own downfall. As there's not too much pressure in defence, but they just keep on coughing the ball up. Wellington now with the job of exiting, which they've done superbly so far today. Played into their midfield and just crash it up. Exiting off the fly half this time, who's not found touch, so gives the ball straight to Gamble, who bounces back to the short side. Takes two defenders to bring him down. Edge breakdown. Good carry. Short side's back on, but Valabona goes to the open. And gives it to the big fellas. Just getting them moving forwards. Ball at the back. Pass is fired back there, so it's a tough one to take. And Wellington have picked the ball up and thrown it back inside. But the referee's whistle brings that to a close very quickly, much to the crowd's disappointment. Been a couple of almost occasions so far, but the deadlock has not been broken. This game crying out for a score. Both the teams want to see it. The crowd on the sideline certainly does. They've done well to keep morale high for these boys. But it's Clifton's turn to attack. We know how dangerous it can be when they start to string some phases together. They go up at the front, great drill. But shoved back in the maul by Wellington. They play into midfield, good bit of footwork on the carry from the big lad. Throws the ball loosely. Oh, masters of their own downfall here. Found themselves a good 10 meters back behind where they started. Horse latched onto this. Arm goes straight in the air from the referee, holding on. Much to the Wellington's happiness there. Let's see what Wellington do here. Points are on offer. And they're going for them. Chance to open the scoring here. Almost half an hour in. Some knee lines this one up. And puts it home. Flags are raised, and we have our first points of the game. From the boot of the fly half, it's 3-0 to Wellington. 30 minutes in. Clifton with most of the territory, I'd say, in this one, at least with the ball. But not managing to find a score so far. Let's see if Gamble can get back on this one. Oh, he definitely can. But it is short. So we'll come back for a scrum. It's not at all what the coaches of Clifton will be wanting from that. Just a kind of situation where you want to apply some pressure to Wellington and force them to exit. But you've just given them not only the 50-meter line, but also the ball. So Wellington here with an opportunity, a bit of a blessing from Clifton. Scrums have been very even today. As Wellington come down this short side, looping around to the scrum half, and puts the afterburners on the outside. Oh my goodness, he's taken off. Gamble just gets across. But he gets the ball down. Wellington going bang, bang here after scoring the first points of the game. They've doubled up as the jet shoes get turned on from the scrum half, who does brilliantly to scoot down the outside and score 5 points in the corner for Wellington. And it's Watson-Nee who has another kick only a couple minutes after his first. And worrying times there for Clifton after failing to exit, well, kick off even the game to go 10, and they've put pressure back on themselves both in that situation and in this game as a whole now, as they're 2 scores behind, as Watson knee lines this one up. Hit that brilliantly. What a strike. You could tell as soon as it left his boot where that one was going. And that takes us to the half. Wow, that sprung into life in the last 2 minutes of that first half. Scoreless for the most part, but not without its entertainment. Both these teams just trying to feel each other out early on. Couldn't quite land the killer blow as both teams had many opportunity. But Wellington finishing the better in that first half. And after a brilliant sideline conversion, lead 10 points to 0 at the halftime break. As these lads have their oranges, we'll leave you to your cups of teas and we'll catch you back in 5 minutes or so. We are back underway for the second half. in what turned out to be a quality game in the back end of that first half. Clifton here, pressure on to try and get away with something, and Gamble is taking the reins himself and saying, give me the ball, let me do the work. Just turned over at the breakdown as he isolated himself. Wellington with a bit between their teeth finishing that first half. Probably would have wanted it to be another 5 minutes longer so they could carry and ride that wave on. But they're going to have to start again here. Oh, forced kick, gets charged down, has another bite at the cherry. Straight down Gamble's throat though, and he just sets off. Oh, brilliant pass to the outside, frees up some space for his teammates. Things just happen when he gets on the ball. But good defense there from Wellington, getting off the line well, bringing some speed to it. Definitely come out the faster in this first half, but we know what Clifton can do with ball in hand in those wider channels, and the ball is put in behind. It's a foot race on. Oh my goodness, out of nowhere comes the open side wing. Miles, Pierce, Lynch. In the exact same space we just saw the Wellington scrum half. Jack Thorpe, burn up the sidelines. The Bath Academy lad went. Couldn't believe him set off like that. Put the jet shoes on and off he went. Clifton with the ball on the Wellington 22, but they just knock it on at the line. They did well to get the man up in the air there, but he just couldn't quite take it as Wellington put him under some pressure. So it's another scrum to the boys in black and yellow. They have exited very well, I must say. Wellington typically kicking off their 9. Jack Thorpe, but first of all, carrying very hard through the midfield as we see Elia stepping up for this one, but it's a free kick to Clifton. Can't take the scrum from free kicks obviously anymore, so they have to tap. Clifton with a chance here to bite back early in this second half. Some good angles of running from the Clifton lads, getting them on the front foot. Just need to keep momentum in their attack as their breakdown slows them down slightly, giving Wellington a chance to get off the line after they've set themselves up. Getting very close now. Clifton just going through the forwards here. They've had a lot of success through the back line, but referee calls us back for an offside, and Valabona takes off. Gets shotted, but because that defender flew out the line, it created some space, and Valabona sacrifices himself to put his teammate through the hole and over the whitewash. And we have a game on our hands here as Clifton respond. They answer the questions of Wellington in the back end of that first half and finally find themselves on the scoreboard. Good tempo from Valabona to keep the attack alive. We've seen their breakdown slowing them down slightly and giving Wellington a chance to set the defence up and force them back. But once Valabona brought that tempo, it was hard to stop. No mistake from Gamble off the tee, and it's just the 3 points of a penalty separating the two sides here. We have a game on our hands as Wellington are jogging back. They brought plenty of life and energy to the start of this second half to try and follow up on the back end of their first, but potentially doing it individually rather than collectively, and left a few spaces to be exploited by the Clifton attack, who will pick those off happily. Oh, you don't see that very often. You could hear the cries from the sideline of all in front from the kickoff, so we'll bring ourselves back. Slight confusion here from the referee. Another chance, though, to get everyone behind the kicker. And it's just a full blow on the whistle of the referee on this occasion. And Clifton are off. Brilliant line. Cutting straight through the defence from Will Moore. He is another danger man for them in the back line, a big lad. Just another unforced error in double digits for this game as a whole today. Both coaches will be frustrated with that without a doubt, but it's creating quite a contest here. Wellington with a scrum of their own here. As Clifton pile on the pressure, it collapses. Ball comes out, but referee wants to bring it back. Clifton really starting to turn the screw here at scrum time. Got some big lads in the Clifton team this year. Quite imposing to face off against, and that starts up front for them. Their front row of Nathan Elliott, Ted Smithmill and Evan Davies really putting the pressure on Wellington there, but the ball just comes out through the number 8. And they go down that short side. They are bouncing back to it so far today, having a bit of success. But no nonsense rugby here from the well-drilled side. But they picked through the middle, a bit of space opened up in front of their home crowd, who'd be loving to seeing this little surge, but still looking to play no-nonsense rugby. Never mind. I take that right back. They've got a bit of momentum, and here they go, carrying into midfield. What can they do with it on this occasion? Clifton, a lot of time in tackle there, and they've managed to hold the player up. They've gone beyond just slowing the breakdown down. They won themselves a scrum. The old choke tackle. It's a rarity you see nowadays with the change in tackle height regulations. It's not sometimes worth the risk. But when you make a passive tackle on some occasions, it's just easier to hold the bloke up. As Clifton make a couple changes, big man replaces big man. As onto the field comes number 19. Which I'm going to assume is Hugo Grange. Into the engine room to try and fire up his troops, as they've got a bit of a deficit to come back from here. One score in it for Clifton. They just need to string a few phases together. If they can hold on to the ball, they have a chance. Wellington have turned it, and they're off. Want to probably play in the right areas here, and they need their halfbacks to marshal the troops in that decision making. They don't want to be making mistakes around this area and giving Clifton a chance into it. Throwing together a few phases here, and Clifton are going hard at the breakdown. It's quick ruck speed. The ball is being played away pretty quickly, but don't want to be playing in these areas for too long. But playing, is that well, that's what they're doing. They love chucking the ball around. They're giving it a good crack. Good shape being put on the ball from Wellington, but not really going anywhere. They are zigzagging across the field, and Clifton are eating that up. But they are under advantage now as a little chip goes in behind. But can't quite make it in behind the defence himself. So we come back for a high shot. That's going to go one way or the other for those two teams, I felt. And it just gets tipped in the favour of Wellington, so now have the opportunity to bury themselves into the Clifton half. Making sure that ball gets off the park as the floodlights are really doing their thing now. Sun is set, but there's still plenty of game left to be played here. The drama has been relentless for Wellington today. Their home support really wishing their lads to their first win of this school's championship season. Clifton turned it over at the front. Start to move the ball on. You can smell blood here as they're really trying to get themselves in the right position to win. It's a foot race. Who's back there for Wellington? Gammel's after it. Oh, just managed to get back. Questions to be asked of the Wellington backfield. Number one on that list being, where were you, lads? But they fortunately find themselves with the relief of a penalty through the referee at the breakdown. A sigh of relief. They just need to get themselves in the right areas here. Oh, and just fine touch. Quick drill up in the middle and down to the maul. Peeling away, and here they go. Here come the back line. Not afraid to move the ball around, but it's stripped by the Clifton players. And now they have their chance. This is back and forth stuff here today. Playing the scrum half, looked like. So up steps one of the big lads to fill that role. Out the back they go. Bit of space here on the open side. Just knocked on again. I don't know if it's just overexcitement, but whenever this space starts to open up, but it's just unforced errors creeping in from both sides. If I could just retain possession, I feel like they'd be able to fence. Another scrum. Wellington's put in. Clifton really applying the pressure here, though. They just get the ball away into midfield, who carry hard and get on the front foot. Perfect opportunity to exit here, but they are playing straight through the middle. The first thought is definitely run here, and they've ran themselves into a few problems. Or in this situation, crawled themselves into some problems. Once the tackle's made, you can no longer really work too hard on the ground. You've got to present the ball back rather than crawl yourself forwards. And the referee has deemed that crawling is exactly what's going on there. And it's just the kind of position where you wanted to see Wellington get out of this danger zone. As Clifton are, well, Gammel's range now is what they're within. And they're going for the posts. Gammel backs himself off the tee. You know, can strike the ball well. It's not the hardest kick, but it's not the easiest either, which really puts the pressure on. This would level the scoreline. Is up. And it's over. What pressure. The Scotland international lad, just doing his thing. A difference maker for this Clifton side. And the difference has been squared. We are at 10 points apiece here. After Wellington finished that first half so strong, Clifton have just clawed their way back into this. What an even contest. Wellington finally find themselves in the Clifton half. Importantly, with the ball. Oh, loose passes being thrown though. You appreciate and applaud the desire to play, but they've got to look after the ball first. Let's see how long they can hold on for it here. Good hands, flat passing. Starting to see some tired bodies creep around there, slowly walking a little bit more as this game starts to ebb towards its end. But neither of these teams want to finish in a draw. That's not what they want. Oh, giving up the ball and off Clifton go. Let's see if they will apply their own pressures themselves or look to exit. Ball squatted out the side. Oh, heart and mouth time there for Clifton. But how that ball came out of that ruck was illegal. So they can breathe a sigh of relief as they found just about a way to exit after that 3 points. You are always at your most vulnerable just after scoring, and they just find a way to get a brilliant exit up the sideline as well. Gamble pumps that one deep into the Wellington half. What a shot. And he's given his team a chance here. They're in firing range. We just saw him slot one from around this position as we creep towards the 60-minute mark. Off the top, they go down to the catch and drive. Peeling around the front goes Hooker. Hitting the seam goes the big lad. Forwards working hard around the corner here. You can see them trying to set some shape up. Here comes the snap. Back to the short side. Hands away from that. Bit of space. Cuts back inside. Throws a brilliant offload to Malabone, who scores a superb try in the corner for Clifton. Taking the lead once more. What a score. The combination of a real piece plan and some sublime skill. The opportunity was created by the structure, but finished by the skills. You can see the frustration from the Wellington whole group, to be honest. After finishing that first half so strong, they are scoreless in the second. And Gamble has a chance to really twist the knife here. Swipes at it, doesn't quite give them the lead that they may want. Still within one score. But we're restarting with a penalty to Clifton. I didn't quite catch what happened after the try was scored. But if there is any active foul play, then we restart with a penalty. And that is the last thing Wellington would have wanted at this stage of the game. We've just seen Clifton score from this exact position. So it is panic stations here for Wellington as this game draws towards its conclusion. It's been a bit scrappy, but Clifton are finding their way towards the finish line, but Wellington aren't going down without a fight. Looking a little lost in midfield, trying to find some territory. Back to the boot they go, but it's straight down the throat and into the hands of Gamble, who tries to take some lads on, gets tackled well though. Almost forces a turnover in the process. Oh, not necessary. Don't need to be throwing balls like that. It's just giving Wellington a route back into this one. Bit of space on that open side if they can move the ball there. But it's a slow breakdown. But through the middle they go. Straight, pins his ears back. He's going to run into the try line. And out of nowhere, Wellington have found their way back into the game and potentially back into the lead. As it is the Saints under-18s, Alaya Jayas, who finds his way through the Clifton defence and under the post. Oh, this game sprung into life as Watson Knee slams that one over the uprights and takes his Wellington lads into the lead, much to the crowd's approval. I was starting to think they were out of it with that penalty from the restart, but they haven't given up, probably fueled by losing the game a couple weekends ago to Millfield in the last passenger play after leading for so long. I was about to say that they got a habit of losing leads, but they found it again. Hopefully on this occasion, for their sake, they can hold on to it as the night really does start to creep in here. These floodlights are doing God's work at the moment. Wellington need to do themselves a favour and get out of their half. The bomb goes up. Can it be defused? It's taken brilliantly in the air by Wellington, and they are on the front foot here now. They've taken this game by the scruff of the neck, but as have they been taken by the scruff of the neck in that tackle. Another choke tackle for Clifton wins them the scrum. This game's not over yet. It could go both ways. Both these teams desperate for a win, and that desperation really shown on the faces. Changes being made at the end of this one. Maybe some fresh legs needed for Wellington, as Clifton are really turning the screw at scrum time. Such a quality group, such a shame to see them without a win. That's Clifton, but that just shows the calibre of this competition. It is the top of the top, and you have to be on your form on every occasion to come away with any sorts of points from any sort of game. It is ruthless, but that's why we love it. The Schools Championship, just elite rugby at this age grade level. We're seeing the birth of some superstars here. But we've still got a game to finish. Oh, as Wellington starts a bit of pressure on here. Clifton with the ball though, into the hands of Gamble, who throws a ball at the back door. His teammates weren't quite expecting it, and it's forced to knock on as he holds his head in his hands. He knows that he's potentially just let that one slip. That has been the curse of Clifton so far today, forcing the ball where they could potentially just hold on for a little bit longer and try and build a phase or two. We've seen them do it on a couple of occasions to dangerous effect. I don't feel like they needed to force it. If they could just hold on to the ball, they'd break down that Wellington defence. But now it's Wellington's turn to try and see this one out, as they're just eating slowly through the clock here, as referee requests a reset. There's a chat with the lads as well. Clifton will just want to be getting on with this. Oh, brilliant scrum from Clifton, and they've turned the tides at the set piece after the last scrum, and they've given themselves an opportunity. So you're saying there's a chance. Oh, Gamble pumps it down the sideline again. We've seen him do that so many times so far this season. But will it be the last time we see it? As Clifton, I don't want to say require a miracle because it's only 2 points. And there's still a bit of time left here. But they need to make something happen. But as I'm saying, they don't need to force it either, lads. Just get through some phases. Put some pressure on. Force Wellington to make their tackles. Win the set piece first, just about. Ball flung into midfield, and it just opens, it parts like the Red Sea. And it's just taken the opportunity, and it's a penalty. Valabona takes off. My goodness, out into the hands of Moore. Sits down his man. It's another advantage here for Clifton. Oh, we said not write them off. And they're straight back to the sword. Wellington just holding on. Valabona fishes this one out. There's an air of inevitability about this as Moore crashes ever closer towards the try line. Hands go in the air from the Wellington lads as they think they've turned it, but the ball's there, ready to be played. They're only a metre out, they've just got to crash over. Can they find their way through? Oh, body height way too high, they're not going to find it over like that. Valabona goes himself! Oh, can't quite get the ball down, but we go back to the penalty. Heart and mouth time for all these Welly lads and all the supporters on the sidelines. And they're going for the poles. The safe bet. Just need 3 points. What a game this has turned out to be after a quiet first 20 minutes of a bit of ebb and flow. This one's really opened up. The floodgates have well and truly opened, and it's flowing, it's gushing. Raining points now as Gamble has a chance to be the hero for his side after potentially putting them out of it. Bang. Never in doubt from there. And it's his boot keeping this Clifton side in it. We can hear the war cries coming from the sidelines to rally the troops on the field. And Clifton are trying to sneak back down the motorway this afternoon with some points on the school's championship leaderboard. That'll put them back in it. Oh, Wellington go cross field, but picked off. Well read. Well tackled as well, but goodness me, that was a good read. He had to be there for that. As Wellington tries something sneaky. But this will do them some favours, Clifton, as it means it'll be 2 defeats now for Wellington. That means they'll go into their last game needing a win desperately, as Clifton will have 1 from 3. They've still got to finish their dinner here. It's been an issue for them so far this game. They are really trying to kill the clock here. Got to arrive on their feet and not seal off. Wellington fire back into that. These breakdowns are turning into an absolute mess. As the referee sticks his arm in the air, round the side they came. Wellington giving everything they got to that breakdown and just not quite keeping it legal, unfortunately for their sake. All these lads just passing the ball around. No one wants to take it. They booted off and bring their own noise after the Wellington supporters were cheering all game. Those who cheer last cheer longest in this one, and that is the Clifton lads in their white and blue strip. They found their way to a win finally after some pretty tough results so far this schools championship season. They find a way to get some points on the leaderboard, much to the disappointment, the despair of Wellington, who've had 2 victories snatched from their grasp in the final plays these past 2 games. Agonizing stuff for them, who are playing some brilliant rugby in the process. The highest tier of schoolboy rugby this. You love to see it. We love to bring it to you. We hope you've enjoyed what has been a back and forth game this. The lead exchanging hands a couple times, but just finding a way over the whitewash, led by the metronome at scrum half, Alabona, who just never said die. Put his boys in the right spaces, put the ball in the right places, most of all over the try line for Clifton. And combined with the booted gamble, just managed to sneak the win. And what a win it is for them. You can see Gamble there, delighted, as they give themselves a chance. So you're saying there's a chance to eke their way back into this season. Final score, 18 points to 17. Yeah, 18 points to 17 wins the final score. Clifton just sneaking the win. We hope you've enjoyed this game. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Ollie Johnson. I've been calling this one for you. I'm looking forward to doing the same again next time as we run this back in a couple weeks' time. We have another mammoth clash coming up on the 19th of November as Wellington find themselves in the same spot Clifton arrived in today, as they have to go away to win their first game from 3. But arguably they have the toughest challenge of all, as they've got to go a long old way to Sedba, a very tough place to go. That's on the 19th of November. I can't wait to see you there. Otherwise, I hope you have a lovely week. Enjoy your weekends. I'll catch you in the next one.